We're going to be working in the key of C. We're going to cover all the notes, all the chords, all the notes in your chords, and scales on your fretboard. As we are learning the key of C, we're going to have songwriting projects based off of techniques within songs. Those are going to be your practices. So I'm going to give you an overview. So we're going to learn all of the notes in the chords, all the notes on the fretboard, a little bit at a time. In the key of C, we have 7 chords. We're going to leave the diminished chord out because that is special. But we have C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, and B diminished. Back to C. We're going to use 3 chord progressions to learn all of our chords and all of our notes. We're going to start off with the 1-6-2-5, which everybody should know already, but if you don't, we're going to learn it. I've included in this your chord molecule. This is a little guide for you to help you determine which chord to go to next whenever you're writing a song, and this one works in any key. I have one special for you right here for the key of C, so that way you can print this out and use this for everything we're working on when it comes to songwriting. When you look at this is telling you that your C chord is your 1 chord, your home chord for your key. That chord sounds good going to any chord. Your 2 chord, which is your D minor, sounds good going to your G chord. From your D minor to your G, sounds good. Your 3 chord goes to your 6 chord, which is your E minor. Your 3rd chord, which is your E minor, goes to your 6 chord, which is your A minor. Your F chord can go to either your C or your G. Sounds good either way. Your G chord goes back to your home chord. It's actually a cadence. That's how you end a song. Your A minor chord, which is your 6, sounds good going into your 2 chord. Your B diminished or diminished chords are really like passing chords. You want to get those shapes, and they're just awkward shapes. You know, there's a practice for it. You can look up the diminished chord practice in the Dropbox, and you'll find that. So that way you can work on diminished chords if you feel like it. I wouldn't stop you. Now, if you have an issue changing chords, this is for you, right? Just take the 2 chords and go through these strum patterns. At the very bottom here, the 1, 2, and 3, I have 3 strum patterns that I want you to add to all of these. When you're practicing these, let's take this first one, the C to the A minor. Do 2 measures for each one of these strum patterns. So your first one will be down strums, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 measures of this. Then switch the strum pattern. Strum pattern 2. Round 2. Switch to 3. Boom. Now you're done with that one. Move on to the next one. Do the same thing. This way you practice changing in between all your different chords. And you're just getting used to that. Memorize these 3 strum patterns. I will have reference videos for all of this as well, but we're just going through what I want you to know. The first position. I want everybody to know their notes so bad. It'll help you out. I promise you. This way you can see what notes are in your chords for yourself. You can see them. The way I want you to memorize this, like I said, we're gonna break this up a little bit at a time. Start off with your open strings. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. Easter bunnies get dizzy at Easter. E, A, D, G, B, E, B, G, D, A, E. Get that going. Memorize it like that. Practice it like that over and over again. Loop it. That's what this is for. Boom. So this brings us into our chords. This is everything that I want you to know about each of the chords. Now we're only using 3 chord progressions. Each one of the chord progressions has the 1 chord, the 6 chord, and the 5 chord. That middle chord in there is the one that's changing. Throughout this, we're going to be repeating the notes C, E, G, A, C, E, G, B, D. You're going to see those circulating And then we're going to circulate those 3 chords within that. So you're going to see it's all about repetition. You know, having that repetition will help keep it in and help you retain it for your records. There are going to be videos for all of these kind of going over this, but for each section you want to memorize the chord. This is the C chord. This is its shape. This is what it sounds like. It is my 1 chord because it is my home chord. My home chord goes to all my chords, any chord. Right? So it sounds good. That's the home chord. That's what key we're in. We're in the key of C. This is where our major scale comes from. Major scale. Which is our first position, which is going to be in that video as well. The notes in your C chord, C, E, open G, C, and then open E. So the only 3 notes that you're playing are C, E, G. They just repeat themselves. And it's like that with all your chords. They have 3 notes in them, but like your G chord has G, B, D, G, D, G. Still just G, B, D. All right, makes sense a little bit? Hope so. So along with this one, now that you've worked on your open strings and you have those memorized backwards and forwards, tack on that first fret, F, C, F, E, A, D, G, B, E, B, G, D, A, E, F, C, F, F, C, F, C, F, C, F. Work on it a little bit at a time. You take this and you spend 2 minutes a day. Piece of cake. You can have these chords memorized. Same thing with your 6th chord. 3 notes in it. A, C, E. Look at where that's at. A, E, A, C, open E. A, C, E. You have your A minor chord. It's your 6th chord, so it's 6 notes away from your 1, but your 1 chord sounds good going into it. All right. So your A is a minor chord. In the previous sheets, as we're going through, I'll explain more about the chord order. Pretty sure I talked with everybody about chord order, but we'll explain the chord order where it's just major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished for every single key. I will repeat that again, so you will get that in your memory as well. But the quality is minor. And it's modal name. I forgot to talk about that one and the other one. Modal name. You want to think of your modes like your major scales emotions.
I'm having a bad day. I'm feeling a little minor today.
Every note played to itself sounds different. The only one that sounds like a major scale is from C to C. If I play from A to A, doesn't sound like a major scale. So your major scale sound is that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That sound, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and it kind of moves up in steps, right? The C is the only scale that matches itself. And a scale is just the note back to itself, 8 notes. So if you go from G, doesn't have that tone. And that's what the mode is. That mode represents that chord's sound. So it has a minor, like the A minor is a minor sound. So its scale sounds like a minor chord, right? Later on, that's going to be important when you think about what chords go together and how you can combine them to make a different sound, right? For instance, I believe I've told this to everybody as well. So you have an E minor chord, which is just E, G, B. Then you have a C major 7th chord, which is C, E, G, B. I can combine those chords or notes of those 2 chords to make a different chord or give it a different sound. And you can do the same things with the scales, which are the modes. So the modes are the representation of the chord in note form or scale form. Bringing us to D minor is our 2nd chord in the scale, and it has D, F, A. So you play the open D, all right? Then you have the A, then you have the D, and then the F, boom. D, F, A, just 3 notes in all your chords. This one is a minor chord, and its sound is Dorian. So the modal name is the scale associated with that chord. Dorian, D, or 2. If you don't understand the numbers, that will start to make more sense as we start to move through this as well. So the first thing is getting these chords. And this one, you want to add in that, and I forgot in the previous one, to add in that second fret to get B, E, A in there. B, E, A, E, B, E, A, E, B. But now we're on the third. So G, C, F, skip a string, D, G. G, C, F, skip a string, D, G, D, skip a string, F, C, G. Work on that backwards and forwards a little bit at a time while you're memorizing this D chord. Then move on to the G chord. It is our 5 chord and our last chord. This is what I want you to know. This is all I want you to know. What we're going to do from here is learn some songs. Yeah. I got some techniques that I want you guys to work on, and as we're working on getting through those techniques, I'm going to give you a project that is going to contain some of the techniques that you are learning in these songs. That way you can get into songwriting and mixing up these chords to make your own song for a talent show. A video talent show. I think that'll be a good idea. I think you guys will like that. I like it. I like it a lot. That's it. That's what I want you to work on. I will have some support videos for you. This is in the Dropbox, and if I can figure out how to link everything in here, I'll put that on there as well. But I hope you guys are having a great one, and I will see you in the next video.